Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Special. This is the JRPG Report. This is going to be episode 30. My name is James Fisher, and we've got a special interview for you guys today. We are talking with longtime listener and a friend of mine from, I guess they call it across the pond, no matter what the body of water is. So, Hans, welcome to the JRPG Report.
Hey James, thank you for having me on. It's been a long time coming, I guess.
Yeah, it's been weird. We've been friends for a few years now, but this is the first time we've actually gotten to talk. So I think it's pretty cool. We said, hey, let's record our talk and do a podcast.
Yeah, let's try it.
That's the key word, try. We'll see if
at least
we'll see how
we'll get there.
works.
We'll get there.
Yes. So why don't you just tell the fine folks kind of who you are, little backstory, and where you're from, and all those good little bits.
Okay, well, my name is Hans, but people already knew that thanks to your fine intro. I'm actually from Belgium. It's across the pond. It's a very small country where we have 3 different languages in one country, go figure. But that's an entire other story. So I've been playing RPGs, I'm guessing since the 80s. It always started, it started on the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's where I started playing RPGs. I think we're about the same age also.
I think so. I'll tell people I'm 39, so you can, if you want to throw it out
okay,
there.
I'm 41, okay. So there's 2 years difference between us. But I'm guessing we had the same games when you grew up. The only difference was that in Europe we got a completely different set of games than you got in the States. Like the first Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Entertainment System, we never got that in Europe.
Oh no.
No, it was really difficult to import at the time. So it's not like now where you just go on eBay, you order something and get it like a few days later. So those things weren't there.
No, and that's you kind of touched on that. That is definitely something I want to kind of talk about. We'll visit probably a couple of times. Is some of the differences with growing up, here, there. I mean, in Japan. So you really got 3 sets of rules for games that come out in Japan that stay there and you want to import, or they come to you guys, or they come to us. Especially back then, it was kind of just like 3 different things, and you would get different. You get different cover arts for games, all those things.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we got completely different cover arts. I remember one was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, which was the second one, I think.
Yes.
And I actually was able to get a US copy back then, which was like a really difficult thing to do in those times. And I think I paid about, it's got to be over $100.
Oh my goodness.
Even back then. So with inflation, it's probably going to be a lot more now.
Oh yeah.
And I think 2 years later, it appeared on the European market. It was a different company and a different front cover. So,
oh my goodness!
I remember. Yeah, there's some weird differences.
And not as much money, I'm guessing.
Probably not. I don't remember that anymore, and I don't think I want to remember. I spent way too much money on games in my life.
I will say this: that game might have been worth $100. That was a fantastic.
Yeah, if you want it now, you probably pay more if you want it now. So.
Oh yeah. I remember playing. Well, if you count how many quarters I put into the arcade, and then how much it paid to play the home version of it.
Oh God, yeah. I used to spend a lot of money on Outrun.
Okay.
In the arcade. So Outrun, always the same thing. Outrun.
That was a classic. We didn't have that with an arcade, but I don't know if it was. If it was like this at your place, like you'd see random video games at businesses or like restaurants and stuff. Does that happen over there?
Not really. It was more on carnivals or when you would go to the movies. Okay. Sometimes there was like an arcade hall there, but it was nothing like in the States. It's completely different.
Outrun was at like our local diner. Like they had a random Outrun next to the bathrooms, and I would escape. I'd eat just enough food and then give me some quarters. I want to go play Outrun for a while.
Yeah, I did the same. So we actually had the Outrun version. We could sit in the car and it would move with you. So I remember as a kid that was an awesome experience as a kid.
I always remembered even back then thinking, how much money did this cost? As opposed to just a stand-up arcade. I was like, but the experience was so different.
Yeah, the funny thing is, a few years later, I bought a home version on, I think it was a Commodore, and it was bad.
Yeah, I can imagine that being not that plagued a lot of games back then. You got the home version, is like, this is a completely different game.
Yeah, it was. Same with Turtles, by the way. The one I was talking earlier was a different game in the arcade.
Oh,
We
really?
played it at home, but not that it really mattered back then. We weren't so picky, so we were just happy to get a multiplayer game. It was me and a friend just playing, picking up the controller, and we just started playing. So
That was, it's so funny because we talk about all those multiplayer games, and then Nintendo had so many. But then, if you're like myself, I gravitated towards those single player experiences very quickly and at a young age.
yeah, me too. Those games like Turtles were fun with friends. But when I was alone, I would never play that game. So actually, the very first RPG, so to speak, actually, this RPG that I ever played was the second Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's what it kicked off.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And that, I will say this, when you say Zelda, of course, that's not a JRPG, but the second one
yeah,
was as close to it as could possibly be. Still obviously a fight, a standard side scroller.
Yeah, it was. But I played that game like a year ago again. It is so difficult. It's such a difficult game.
Yeah, I couldn't play it then, and I sure can't play it now.
I could play it then. I even finished it, but I can't play it now anymore. It's just nope.
No, that was such and it's so funny because I love the original, and then when part 2 comes out and it had those elements, I hated it. Like I wanted nothing to do with it, even with those RPG elements.
Apparently, a lot of people back in the day. It wasn't a very popular game back then.
No,
and now it's one of those cult classics.
Absolutely is. So you guys did not get Final Fantasy, you said?
Nope. So, I don't think we got any real JRPG on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay, so you didn't.
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
No Dragon Warriors. Nope, we never got those.
So you might have even skipped to the Super by the time you really got one.
Yep. The first real JRPG that we actually got over here, I think, was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Oh, Lord.
Which was really bad when looking in retrospect. But back then it was like, whoa, this is a good game. But it was so easy to play.
I mean, if that's your first, then it's acceptable.
That was my very first real JRPG.
Yeah, so. Like if you'd played, anything before that, and like myself, and then you get this thing, you're like, this is garbage. Like, I don't want this watered down experience.
I'm not sure, but I think I did play. It's not an RPG really, but Gargoyle's Quest on the Game Boy also had a lot of RPG elements in it. So I actually liked that game. I still like that one. So.
I remember I remember the cartoon. I don't remember the Game Boy, Glenn.
Yeah, the Game Boy it has a lot of RPG elements. You got the side-scrolling element, and then it started to a top-down like Zelda, and you could actually go into towns and level up and buy stuff. So it was, the Game Boy days.
Oh man, yeah, those were good times as well on the go. For you'd have all those batteries and it lasts about a couple hours and then back to nothing.
Yeah, and those weren't LED screens also. You had a lot of light before you could see something on that screen.
Yeah, it was. It hurt my eyes to stare at that for too long.
Yeah, probably. So, but no, like I said, the very first real JRPG that we got over here, I think, was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I could be wrong, but that's the first one that I remember getting.
Right, and I mean, even if you are wrong, it doesn't matter because that's what you got, and whatever.
Yeah, that's what I got personally. Yeah.
Yeah, and what your situation was. As I've talked to people over the years, it's like each town and city and state and country are so different in their exposure. It's not like now where something just comes out for everybody and you can buy it online.
Yeah, it is.
You can't see it in the store. You had to go to a store and buy it.
Yeah, I had to go to a store and buy it, and then even I had to check out the front cover art. I used to buy games when I saw the front cover art because we couldn't look up any reviews back then. So
no.
But a funny story about that one is the second JRPG that I played back then was a masterpiece, and I also bought it because of the cover art, and that was Secret of Mana.
Okay.
That's a really good game still.
You righted the ship very quickly with that one then.
Yeah. The Secret of Mana was a great game. And the fun part was I had this, one of my best friends used to came over. And we actually discovered that you could play it with two players simultaneously. So we didn't know that when I bought it.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah, if you just look at the front, you wouldn't know that necessarily.
No, that was a really fun game. Secret of Mana.
So you're an only child. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
Okay, so Secret of Mana was a must for us because I had a brother, and you had to play with your brother. So why not play
Yeah.
video games?
Yeah. No.
But yeah, for a game that that you could play together just changed so much, and you could play with your friends. And so, who did you pick in Mana? Who was your go-to?
What was his name? The little dude. Forgot his name.
Are you talking about the hero or like the sprite?
The sprite.
Okay, the magic, whatever their name was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been too long. I haven't played the remake yet, so don't hate me for it.
No, I'm not. I'd hate you if you did play it and like it. From that thing was bad.
I haven't played it. I looked at the picture and was like, I don't want this.
No, why did they do this?
Yeah, it's like this is not needed for me.
No, not at all.
But it was a.
So go ahead.
It was a really fun game back then.
Oh,
Secret of Mana. It's one of my best gaming memories at all. So it was like a whole new. How do I say this? A whole new dimension of games opened up for me back then with playing Secret of Mana. As I say, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest led me into the genre more, but Secret of Mana just opened me up to the genre in total.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I know it's more of an action-based JRPG, but still, for some reason, I gravitated towards those kind of games back then because of those.
Oh yeah, I mean, just because it was an action battle system doesn't mean it was still clearly a JRPG, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be turn based to be that, because all those places you go and explore, and I'll never forget either flying on Flamey or being shot out of the cannon and surviving. The fall
and
back
surviving.
to
Yeah. Yeah, indeed, that was also something back in the days. I'm not going to spoil it here for the people that have never played it, but I also vividly remember the final boss. It took us days upon days to beat it because we had no idea what to do.
No, yeah, like you said, there wasn't anything you could look up online, a walkthrough or something.
Nope, it's all watch and learn. In our case, die and learn. So.
I don't think that one. I may be wrong. I don't think that one actually got a strategy guide either. That was right when those were starting.
Not sure. Yeah.
You could get those, but yeah.
I actually never bought strategy guides until games started to become more and more digital.
Really?
To at least have something of the game.
Right.
Because I like my physical copies, and as a PC gamer, that's even more difficult to get physical copies now. And I always buy the strategy guide and to have something. I actually don't even open the strategy guides 9 out of 10 times.
Wow.
Sorry. So yeah, just to have them.
Oh yeah, and now they're gone. I don't think we're going to get those back anytime, unfortunately.
No, it's over, man. Those things are not coming back.
No, it's kind of sad because that was always a part of, for me, that was a part of the experience. Was you got this brand new game and you got this giant book to go along with it, and I wouldn't even use it. I just wanted it.
Here. I just wanted it there beside me.
Yes,
it needs to be there. That's it.
it's a part of it.
And
now, after I beat it, then I'd go back and look through it, but I didn't want to ruin anything, really.
Yeah, I did about the same, so I guess we're about the same way in that respect.
We're both physical collectors. You've got some awesome collections. Maybe we can get into those.
Sure.
Playing those games growing up, you didn't actually get those, or did you lose the copies of it to where you've had to rebuy those recently?
Oh man, I wish I didn't have to rebuy them all, but no. Actually, when the Super Nintendo was out for, I think, a year or two, we got this little video game shop here a bit down the road, and they actually imported games.
Okay.
So I was able to get my hands on the American games like Chrono Trigger. I was able to get Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, all those. We didn't have those here. They never appeared in Europe.
That's terrible.
And I was finally able to get them. So, and I remember buying the Super Mario RPG and had this little converter for the Super Nintendo, and it didn't work. I went back to the store and said, what the hell's the problem here? Said, you need a new converter and another game to put in the converter because it won't work with just any European game. So the way a converter works is you put in your American game, and at the back of that you put in your European game. So you trick the console into thinking it's a European game. but it didn't work with just any European game. So I had to buy a specific game. I think it was Donkey Kong back then, or Donkey Kong Country 2. I'm not even sure. I had to buy that also enabled to play Super Mario RPG. Otherwise, just couldn't play it.
That is insane. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I remember that vividly. It could also be the store just ripped me off.
It could.
That's also a possibility.
He was selling. He was the only store selling converters in the entire country. Yeah. He'd made them up those just for you. But
anyway, I remember it working when I got that game and I put it in the converter and got a new converter. It worked. Wow. So I was able to play the Mario RPG finally. So
now you went to great expense, but that might have been worth it for that one. That was such a great game.
Yeah, my mom wasn't happy, but yeah, I don't care. I was happy I couldn't play it.
They'll get over it. Parents get over those things.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do. So, no, but what you were saying earlier, no, all those games from my childhood, at some point when you're like 14 or 15 years old, you just want a new game, you don't have money, what do? You trade in the games. I think in the US you had GameStop back then or something.
Yeah, or there's competitor, EB or something.
Yeah, it was the same here. So we had these small shops. You traded in your copy, you got peanuts.
Oh, yes.
And that's how I lost all my games. And it wasn't until I was an adult I started collecting them again.
And
so here and there.
At great expense.
That's very great expense. So you know it from your page on Facebook. So this year alone, I bought Chrono Trigger and Earthbound. I mean, Earthbound as in the complete set. Mm-hmm. And we all know how much that cost.
So much.
So, okay, I got a complete Earthbound now here, but yeah. The funny thing about Earthbound is that's a game I gave away for free to a friend.
Oh, no.
When I was young. I mean, the big box copy, yeah?
Yeah.
I just gave it because everything in there, just gave it away. Played it. I was tired of it. Nobody wanted to buy it for some reason. So here, you can have it.
That's so sad.
That's a really sad story.
So I mean, you'd have bought these games, and games back then were easily, especially our genre, they would go over $60 US. So I don't know what that would be for you guys. Like Earthbound,
that would be about €70, but we didn't have euros back then. We had our own currency.
Okay, so I mean, but Earthbound was more than that. Like I can remember, I think we paid like $90 for it. At the time,
I remember
because they justified it. It's a big box. Yeah. You get the strategy guide. You get stickers.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember. So yeah, I never remembered what I paid for the original Earthbound. I would actually like to know, but when I know, I'm probably gonna cry.
So. Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, I didn't pay for it. That was Christmas or birthday one year, so that was family all chipped in for it, but. Yeah,
cool.
So you bought it at that price, or your mom, whatever did. You gave it away, and then you paid hundreds of dollars later to have it back. That's crazy.
I think I paid. Everybody can know. I think I paid about €900.
Oh my goodness!
For a complete copy, which was actually a deal. That's the sad thing about it. So.
Well, I mean, think about who's going to have a complete copy still.
Well, there aren't many left. The problem with Earthbound also was it wasn't a popular game back then.
No.
Everybody hated it for some reason. I don't know why.
I still don't understand that. I mean, I think people have come around on it quite a bit, but at the time, I think it's just because it's so different, maybe.
Yeah, I heard it was their marketing strategy that really blew up in their face for some reason. They had this really weird marketing strategy saying this game stinks, it's bad, don't buy it. And that was their marketing strategy. So that probably would have backfired at some point.
Yeah, I do recall something to that effect. That sounds familiar for some reason. Of course, with the piles of blah that you were fighting against, I guess that was their angle. But that was a bad angle, definitely.
Yeah, it's still a really weird game. When you play it now, I played it last year again, and it's still actually up to date somehow, but in a really weird way. It's so accurate what it does.
Yeah, because it painted a complete picture of 1990s Americana to a T. So I guess that would probably hold up better than, let's say, a mythical game about dragons and swords from whenever.
Yeah, but it got a cult classic status at some point. I don't remember when, to be honest. But every collector apparently wants Earthbound now.
You might have been one of the few ones to still be able to get that one. I don't.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere anymore now. It's staying.
See, my great fault was I kept all my games from back then, but in order to fit in the little holder that I had, the boxes are gone. You know, the holder, the instruction manuals,
Yeah.
those were in in the trash somewheres.
Ouch. Yeah.
And that would look so good because the boxes were half the draw of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo ones. They were so nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. I actually don't buy any game only anymore for the Super Nintendo. If I want money, I want it complete.
Yes, I can understand that because you're not buying it necessarily to play it, although you do. But
yeah, but you know how I play them. I mean, I buy the game. And then I actually emulate them on one of my handhelds. So I'm not putting them in a physical Super Nintendo. It's staying in the box. So that's where it stays for the rest of its life.
Do you still have your Super Nintendo?
I still have my Super Nintendo somewhere.
Okay. That's that was my other question too. Is I guess it was called Super Nintendo. It wasn't Famicom over there.
No, Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Famicom was for Japanese market, I think.
I figured that's what the case was, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, we just had a different cartridge layout. It was a different fit, so to speak.
Were you guys?
That's the only.
Did you guys have different colors for the cartridges, or were they gray as well?
They were gray, but not the kind of gray that you have. It was like a more lighter shade of gray.
Interesting.
Not with all cartridges though, but just some things that I noticed since I started collecting. There's a difference.
Huh. I guess that's so you could easily recognize that they were different regions or whatever.
Yeah, it's also the seal of approval that was on the Nintendo box. It has a different shape in Europe.
That's interesting. So Nintendo had their own set of rules. Now, when did things kind of start to change, or from being able to get readily copies? Was it like PlayStation or PlayStation 2? When did things turn around?
For the PlayStation. I do believe that the PlayStation 1 was a great JRPG machine. I mean, probably some of the greatest JRPGs that ever came out were released on the PlayStation 1. I know it's debatable. There's always this debate going between Super Nintendo versus PlayStation 1. But I think they're equal. Actually, I really do. Some of the greatest classics were on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
But there were equally good games that came out on the PlayStation 1. And for me personally, I do prefer the Super Nintendo if I had to choose between the two. But PlayStation also has some really good games on there.
I think PlayStation 1 probably had more numbers of JRPGs because it had just a easier to make for it. I think, but especially now, if you look back on them, I think they actually looked better on Super Nintendo because
they were sprite based,
sprite based, and then they tried that weird mix between realism and block characters on PS1.
It's like Final Fantasy VII. I mean, I like Final Fantasy VII. I think it's a good game still, but if you see it now with the graphics on PlayStation 1, it's darn unplayable. It's just, you can't do it.
It's disgusting looking. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And I think Final Fantasy 3 or 6 or whatever part of the world you're in looks a lot better than Final Fantasy 7. It aged a lot better.
By the time you got to Final Fantasy 9, things were starting to look pretty awesome. But yeah, those early ones are just ugly. Or it's like, a game like, I don't know, like the first Suikoden. I always felt that almost looked like Super Nintendo. Like they just tried to make a good-looking Super Nintendo game rather than a full PlayStation 1 experience with the 3D.
Yeah, it is. It's like Lunar.
Yes.
Same thing. So that could easily pass for a 16-bit game maybe, but it looked so good on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it actually still looks good.
Those games look good too. Like PlayStation 1, I think a part of it too was blowing it up on the screen. Like if you go back and, like you said, you played in your emulator in your handheld, those games look pretty good like on a Vita screen because it's small and compact. It's when you stretch them out that they really start to look bad.
Yeah, the thing is, the TVs back then were also a lot different. Yes. We also had CRT monitors, and now we got these 4K Ultra HD TVs, and don't even try to put a PlayStation game on there. I tried. No. Even with a converter, it doesn't look like anything you want to play. It really hurts your eyes.
No, that's not something you want to do. Like when I got the Grandia collection on Switch, I played it on TV. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'll just play it in handheld mode. It's not doing it justice.
I usually play all my RPGs now in handheld. Yeah. Almost every one of them. So there's a few exceptions, of course, with like the real new, like Dragon Quest XI. That one looked really good on the PC. But in general, if I had to choose, I would still choose the older RPGs over the ones from now. But that's a personal opinion, of course.
Yeah, there's just some things that they did so right back then. I like some of the new things that they can do with games. You know, something like Persona 5 that they can do it well and do it better. But the idea is still old ideas. They just have a new, fresh way of doing things.
Yeah, agreed. No. You also had what's it called, Legend of Dragoon. That was one of those games I never got into.
Okay. That was so you're on the opposite side of the fence. I always thought that you were a big Dragoon fan, but I guess not.
I have it right here because I want it in my collection. But it's a game I tried to play, I think probably a dozen times over the course of 20 years, and I never ever was able to finish it because I don't know, something stopped me from playing that game always, and I still want it. So it's a cult classic again. It's one of the most sought after games on the PlayStation apparently because they said it was a Final Fantasy killer, and to me it didn't felt like it.
I think that was a stupid thing for them to try to market it as.
Probably, yeah. Final Fantasy was a behemoth back then.
Yes, and I also think a lot of people, you kind of find the same crowd that people who started with Final Fantasy VII and got in on the PlayStation, they were a young kid. I feel like those are the people that really love Legend of Dragoon a whole lot, and they kind of hold it in a high tier.
Yeah, because I'm not saying it's a bad game.
No.
I mean, if so many people love it, then it's a me problem, not a them problem. So it's something I personally don't like about the game, but I'm not gonna diss it because it's gotta be a great game if everybody loves it.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit, but I don't hold it up in the pantheon of great games.
No, you know my holy trinity of games. So for me, it's Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3 or 6 in Japan, and Chrono Trigger. Yeah. Those are my 3 main games. So they always gravitate back to.
It's hard not to.
I think a lot of people, especially collectors or older gamers like we are, we always gravitate back to those games as the holy trinity of the JRPGs.
Yeah, and that's the same idea as we were younger when those games came out. They hit us really hard at that age, and we have those memories. I think whatever that age is that those games come out at, whatever you are, those are the games that stick with you as being fond memories, and you just they're sacred cows. You can't touch them. Nobody's gonna don't badmouth my games. You know.
No, nobody's gonna tell me ever that Chrono Trigger is a bad game.
No, and I don't see how you could even begin to make that point other than I'm, if somebody that's like 15 now would look back and like, oh, that game looks terrible. I'm not going to play it. That opinion, but.
Probably not a popular opinion, but I hope they never remaster Chrono Trigger. It's gonna happen probably, but I hope they don't.
I really hope they don't do it. Or there's been a lot of talk about redoing Final Fantasy VI, remaking it, and I really hope they don't because it's not. I don't think it'll be done well.
No, but I mean, like the Final Fantasy VII remake, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad game. A lot of people like it again, but it's not for me.
Did you?
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I have it. Yeah, okay. I played it, and it's probably a good game. From every standpoint, I mean, it looks great. It plays great. Mm-hmm. The combat, that's a mixed bag, but that's also a personal opinion again.
Yeah.
So something stopped me from playing it. And the one thing I think that stopped me is I knew when I bought it wasn't the full game.
Yeah.
And God knows when we're going to have the full game of the remake. I'll probably play it once it's all out in one big edition. That's probably when I'm going to play it.
That'll be for PlayStation 6. So
probably. So that means I can skip the PlayStation 5. So that saves me a lot of money.
Exactly. I don't have to worry about it. What if remake was, let's just say it was a full game. It looked the way it did, still was turn-based, and they didn't add stuff to it. Would that change your opinion?
I would probably play it, and I would probably finish it then.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing that stopped me is just the fact that it wasn't the full game, and we all know the story. We all know what's gonna happen. Or maybe they'll change it also.
I think that's gonna change. Yeah.
I think there's one particular spoiler that is gonna change for some reason, but we'll see. So
I think it'll still be in the game, but the way they've changed so many things, maybe you can change it or not let it happen or go back in time. I don't know what they're doing with this game. It's so weird.
No, me neither. But I did hear the rumor that it's gonna be finished pretty early. So the second one, it won't be years away apparently.
No, it's not going to be as long as it took to make this one. They're pretty far along in it. I think it's just going to be a matter of how they choose to divide it up. If it's going to be 3 parts or 4.
Yeah, I'm not seeing how they can do 3 parts now.
No,
because I mean, how long is this part? What's it take? 40 hours to finish?
Yeah, I mean, you could stretch it out a little bit longer, but it's pretty much a solid 40. Yeah.
No, yeah, but you see, and that's just the start of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't even Midgar. Disc 1 went well past Midgar, so if you're going just on discs, it could be like 5 parts or something.
Yeah, they're probably not gonna do that, but I am interested to see how they're gonna tackle a few things, like the open world, which back then was like, whoa, you can go in the open world. So I'm really curious to see how they're gonna nail that one in this remake, but I guess we'll have to wait and see then.
I'm very curious how they handle that, considering how no game has really done that open world the way those games used to, with the maps and running around and enemies. They stopped at some point.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
You look at Final Fantasy X. I mean, there's no go from part to part to part.
Unpopular opinion, I wasn't a fan of Final Fantasy X also. So.
Oh, that is unpopular, friend.
Yeah, that's a really unpopular opinion, but no, it's a game actually I also never finished.
Okay.
So, but that probably if I play that now, say I would give it a chance now, I probably would play it because I have played 13 and 15. So So
you can get the taste out of your mouth and go back and play that one. I mean, it's available on every system that's ever been made, so you should be able to get it.
It is. I just get it on Steam for like $7 or something. So
it might be worth a second visit. Like if you're going back to, I think what Final Fantasy is and that turn-based, that's the last one you got to go back to.
Yeah, because back then when I played the game for the first time, I was so used to Final Fantasy games like 9, 8, 7, 6.
Yeah.
And those are all with an overworld and a map and all those things, and all those things were suddenly gone in the tent, and that's what actually threw me off back then.
And that was the thing. Like we always expected just to be bigger and better, and it's like as the games got more detailed, like they started taking things away from them. It was very odd.
Yeah, that's. I think that's why so many people hate Final Fantasy 13.
Well, there's a lot of reasons to hate 13.
Yeah, I know. But I'm one of those stupid people who actually bought an Xbox back then just to play that game.
Ooh.
And yeah, you can imagine my disappointment when I got home and I turned on the console that game. So
it looks pretty.
That really hurt.
It's a gorgeous game, but
that's about it. But
that is.
That is really it. I mean, I had to read online. It had to play about 25 hours before the game opened up a little bit. I never got to that part.
I played it through twice and got to the end, and it's a slight bit, but it doesn't change the game. It's still the same game that I don't like.
Yeah, I never was able to finish the thing. The furthest I ever got was on some sort of airship that you needed to invade or escape. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So not sure how many hours that was in, but that was like the breaking point. I was like, I'm done with this one. So
I don't care about the story, the characters, the gameplay.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, the 15 was a mixed bag for me. I mean, it's a good game. Looks gorgeous. Mm-hmm. But looking back at it right now, it's like, maybe this wasn't as good as I think it was. So 15, I recently played it again. I was like, yeah, you can see that in Final Fantasy 15 at some point they were running out of funds or something, whatever happened there.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I think from chapter 9, I think it was, I'm not sure.
Yes.
The open world just was gone.
It's gone.
And you could go back with some sort of weird dream sequence or whatever it was, if I remember. Mm-hmm. And you could just see that there was parts of the story cut out. I mean, entirely was just missing in that game.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
You played it recently, so you've gotten even all the updates and changes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't played the updates yet, but okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I really want to see what what's missing there. So like the Pronto episode and all that stuff, I really should do it sometime.
I want to get the Royal one just to see what the difference was and if that makes any difference in my overall opinion of it. I don't care about the DLC episodes. That's something completely separate.
That's also.
You raise a good point. Like once you get to that second town that looks like Vienna or like Venice.
The water thingy there.
Yeah, it just goes off the rails from that point. And yeah, maybe that was it. It had been in development for so long, and yeah, they were just like, we gotta get this thing out. Like,
yeah, it is. It actually that game reminded me somewhere of Chrono Cross. You probably played Chrono Cross also. It was a really good game, and somewhere near the end, everything was explained through text. They were out of budget, out of funds, and that tanked the game. So, and this was about the same. So it was really weird to experience again. But I'm not saying it's a bad game, by the way. I mean, I did really enjoy my playthrough for Final Fantasy 15. I just think as a Final Fantasy, I expect more from Final Fantasy.
I think that's the problem. It's not a Final Fantasy game.
No, it's a Japanese take on a Western open world game.
Yeah, well,
that's how I look at it.
It was Versus 13. And they changed it into making a Final Fantasy game that, if you'd have just called it that to begin with, and it wasn't a mainline game, I think I would have probably changed my opinion a lot on it.
Probably, and I really do hope that Final Fantasy 16, whenever we get it, is going to go back to its roots a little bit.
Oh my gosh, it better.
Just give me something back to its roots. Stop it with all the things you're doing. Just go back to the recipe that worked.
Yeah.
I mean, in sport, they also say never change a winning team, so don't do it. Just go back to your roots. You're going to sell a lot of copies then.
I think all they need to do is look at the success that 14 has had, and it kind of has that return to roots idea. Just make an offline version of it. I don't see them going back to turn-based. I wish they would.
Yeah, same.
I don't, but maybe, there's some sort of option in there or something, but they've got to. Although I've said this on the podcast before, I don't think they're making that game anytime soon. I think
me neither.
They are all in on remake, and it's going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get more remakes after this, because this is hugely successful for them. It's one of the better selling games apparently on the PlayStation 4.
Well, yeah.
So it's tons of money that they're raking in with this one. So we're going to get more of those.
Oh boy.
So. Yeah.
That's they'll just keep on making games that people want and will sell well, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be making new games for a while. You're probably right.
Yeah, why would you? if you get free money from something else, huh?
Yeah. The script's already written, the characters are all there, you just got to make the game.
Yeah. But on the plus side, we do have now confirmation apparently that Dragon Quest will come to the West again. And what's it, the 12th one, I think it is?
Yes.
Dragon Quest 12.
The next one.
So, it's going to be coming to the West and on PC all systems, so that's really great for me.
I think that one's a while away too, though.
It's not going to happen overnight, so it's at least 3 years probably.
Do we get Remake Part 2 or Dragon Quest 12 first?
I think we're going to remake Part 2 first.
I think you're right.
I don't think there's even any talk about Dragon Quest 12 yet. I mean, there's probably some manuscript laying somewhere, but that's about it, I guess. So
it has been confirmed that it is a thing, but it's probably so early on, it's nowhere near.
Yeah, that's like the new Elder Scrolls game. They just showed the title screen a few years ago, and that's it.
But they're
the
not.
Elder Scrolls 6. That's it.
Are they working on anything else though? Square Enix, they're a huge company. They've got a lot of games going on. But it seems like Bethesda, is that Elder Scrolls? Is that who does those?
Yeah, Bethesda.
I mean, what else are they doing?
Fallout 76, yeehaw. Well, but let's not talk about that one.
No, I don't do those ones anyway, so I know that.
I do play the Fallout games, but not Fallout 76.
I heard it was not received well.
That's a bit of an understatement. I had that game on pre-order, the collector's edition. I think it was 120 euros, and the reviews came in. And I was like, oh no, I gotta cancel my pre-order right now. So I didn't want it anymore. So, there was this huge helmet in there that I wanted. It was like, no, I'm not paying 120 euros just for a helmet. I just canceled my pre-order. That game was really bad. So
wow, you dodged a bullet there.
I really dodged a bullet. I have a lot of those collector's editions over here, and every single one that I got, I have played. But I just wouldn't want it to stand here as a testament to how much money I lost on that game. No, thanks.
No, I think you did. I think you did okay there. Well, why don't we? I think this is a perfect time. Let's take a little break, and we'll be back. We'll have a few more fun things to talk about here with Hans on our JRPG Report Sunday Special, Episode 30. All right, everybody, we're back. Thanks for hanging out with us. And, of course, thanks to Anchor for always pushing this podcast out there to your ears. We've been chatting it up with Hans, and we've been talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. But the thing that I want to, and I want to kind of get on, because it's going on right now, is Gamescon. So, like, how far away from that is you? Are you?
It's about 2.5 hours drive for me. It's in Cologne, so
that's not bad.
I actually go to Germany a lot for the football, but so Cologne, 2.5 hours approximately. I've been there once at Gamescom, which was like I think 6 or 7 years ago, and we actually had plans to go again this year, but we all know what happened in the world.
Yeah.
So there's no Gamescom at the moment for me.
No, it's a little bit different with everything going on virtual this year. So,
so
what was that experience like going to a giant event like that?
To be honest, it was my first time I ever went to one of those games conventions, and the one thing that always bugged me since that day was the available parking space. If you ever go to one of those events, right? Never.
Yeah.
And I mean, never go with your car. Take the public transportation, because you're going to have a bad time if you go with car. So we actually had to park somewhere on a remote location, which was actually not even near in the neighborhood of where the Gamescom was. And we had to pay 50 euros just to be there.
Yeah,
so that was bad.
That sounds like going to a sporting event or something like that. Our football, we went to one, and I mean, we were probably a mile away, and paid like $40 to park and walk. When oh my gosh,
same there. So
ridiculous.
But the actual Gamescom itself was actually quite fun, because all those developers, they had their own booths, they had the stage presence, back in that time there was something to do with Blizzard and World of Warcraft. They were announcing a new expansion. I don't remember which one, to be honest. And there were a lot of people there just to know what the new expansion from World of Warcraft would be.
Oh, wow.
And all those developers, they gave you free codes for games. They gave you beta passes. One thing I didn't do was play games there, because there were waiting lines. Yeah, if you wanted to play a game like in the beta and you had to wait like 2 hours in the line, it's like, no, not going to do that. So I remember also being in the Guild Wars stand. I don't play Guild Wars, but they had a really cool stand there, and they gave me a lot of codes for weapons in game and potions and I don't know what. So there's a few. And then EA. Yeah. We all know EA.
Yeah, great company.
The best company. I mean, surprise mechanics, anyone. But no, they had this really big stand, and there was this real life Need for Speed car there.
Oh,
you could actually sit and take pictures with, and that was a fun thing to do. And I remember also on the Blizzard stand, they had made this troll figurine. It's one of those Horde war chiefs, entirely out of Legos.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Probably sure it was about 100 or 200,000 Legos to build it, because it was bigger than me.
Holy cow.
You know what I'll do? I'll post the pictures on your site. I still have those pictures.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. We'd love to see that.
I'll put them on Facebook. I'll put them up there.
Okay.
So you can see those. And there was also a lot of cosplay.
Yes, of
going
course.
on. Didn't see the cosplay competition, but a lot of people of the cosplayers, I mean, they were walking around, so got a few photo ops with a few of them. And there was also a more my kind than a PC modding competition. Okay. And they had the most incredible mods there for your PC. Like, there was this one PC, I also have a picture of that one, that was encased in a skeleton. It was a skeleton PC they made, so it's really,
real,
awesome
like
to see.
real skeleton bones?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a real skeleton.
Okay, that'd be
probably
sick.
be illegal if you do that, but so it was a cool thing to see, and like dragon modification, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a great, and I'm going back. So probably 2021, if everything is over by then, we're going to Gamescom. But we had our tickets for this year.
Oh gosh, and then it happened.
We had tickets, we had a hotel, we had everything this time planned out, and then stuff happened.
Life happened,
and we're here now. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been to like a big event, so I can only imagine like you kind of skipped over all the small stuff and went right to the giant one.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of small stuff here. I mean, I still think that E3 is like the biggest one in the world, I guess. I know Gamescom is the biggest in Europe.
Yes.
And there's probably other game conventions here that I don't even know about.
Yeah, it's about as big as you can go to within any reason. Yeah.
Also, yeah, if you're ever in Europe, and Cologne is really a city you should visit. There's a lot of stuff to do over there. So it's a great location to be there.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the cities that, you kind of, as an American, you kind of got the like all the European cities that you definitely want to go to. That's pretty high up on the list, and you can't go to them all. There's so many.
No, it is. But Gamescom, I mean, if you ever want to go, it's really worth your money. I mean, for you, it's a real bit harder to get there, of course. But for us, yeah, it's like next door. I mean, 2.5 hour drive. That's nothing. So
no,
I'm used to a lot more. I'm not sure how it is in the States, but 2.5 hour drives is not long for me. So
no, that's a drive to the amusement park for us. That's nothing.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's about 300 kilometers. Well, approximately.
Yeah. Hopefully everything will be back to normal. You can go next year, and then you can post some more pictures next year for us.
Yeah, and I'll try and get some codes for everyone then.
So obviously, with it being virtual this year, have you still kind of tuned in to see what's going on, or is it just you don't really care as much?
Nah, I didn't tune in. I just looked on PC Gamer website to see if there's anything interesting there. But so far, there hasn't been anything that caught my eye.
No, there's
something I missed maybe, but yeah.
Well, you just need to go onto our Facebook page and see. But
yeah, there's some other stuff. I mean,
there's been a few things, but like I don't know. Like obviously, E3 didn't even happen in any form really. And then this one, it's like I'll just wait until the trailer comes out on the news site and check it out. Then I'm not going to be glued to a live stream. Like,
nah, me neither. Never done that. So
I've done it a couple of times, but it's like you're always disappointed because you're sitting there waiting. And nothing,
yeah, it is.
And nothing happens.
I once bought a virtual BlizzCon ticket.
Oh.
Because I really wanted the in-game pet if you bought a ticket. So, and I tuned into the live stream and was like, this is stupid. This is not for me. It's not for me. So.
And you paid money for it, even better.
Yeah, but I did get an in-game pet. So, so I did get something.
It wasn't a complete waste of money.
No, it wasn't a complete. It was a bit of a waste of money, but still, yeah. But anyway, no. Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned it a bit in there. So you're a bit of a PC guy. I know
small bit.
Small bit. You joke about your PC Master Race and all that. Where did that even start at? Who came up with that nutty idea?
Well, first of all, the PC Master Race it's a meme.
Yes.
It's a joke. I think it originated from the very first Witcher game.
Okay.
That was ported from PC to console or vice versa. Don't quote me on it. I'm sure people will put it in the comments that I'm wrong, but I mean, and some guy there, a reviewer put in, this game is just for the PC Master Race.
Oh my god.
That's how it started. So, and it became a meme since then. So,
it's grown quite a bit since then.
Yeah, but to be honest, there is no real PC Master Race, so it's a meme. I mean, it's probably the fanboys.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It's the fanboys. I mean, that's it. There's no more. If you really say, yeah, I'm PC Master Race, then you're a fan.
Yes.
And we all know what fanboys are and what they do. And I really, truly don't want to be associated with that kind of people, because as much as I love the PC for a lot of objective reasons, the consoles aren't bad and they will always have a place. There's no way that a PC is going to replace a console or a console is going to replace a PC. They're each for a specific market. And to be honest, even with the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox One X coming out, they're virtually the same now. Yeah. I mean, it's so integrated now. I mean, just look at the new Xbox. It's a small form factor PC.
Well, of course it is. I mean, it's Microsoft, so
Yeah.
I've never understood why they make a console to begin with, considering they're so closely associated with PC anyway. But that's not for me to argue.
Yeah, it is. But I read a lot of arguments online about pro PC or pro console, and one is equally as stupid as the other sometimes. I mean, the things you read online, I said it before, I think, that there is no way a PlayStation 5 that's coming out is going to be as powerful as a PC with a 2080 Ti. I mean,
No.
it's not happening. I mean, just look at it. A 2080 Ti costs about $1,400. Even if somehow magically Sony was able to put it in the PlayStation 5, which is practically impossible, and they're selling it for $500. How much loss are they going to make on one console? And then even a 2080 Ti needs a lot of cooling.
Yeah.
How are you going to cool a small PlayStation 5 enough to do that? I mean, don't get me wrong, what the PlayStation 5 is doing is probably awesome. And it's going to be on the limit of what a console can do with the technology at this time. And it's going to be really good. It's not going to be as good as a PC. But on the other hand, when you buy the console, you just plug it in, your disc, install it, and you don't have to worry for 7 or 8 years.
That's true. That's true.
So that's not with a PC. That's not the case. I mean, some people will argue with, you don't need to upgrade all the time. But if you want to be in the high-end segment, you're going to have to upgrade every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. And that's why you do that.
That's why I do it. I mean, I'm in the high-end segment. I love the high-end segment. I mean, next month, the new graphics cards are going to be coming out, the 30 series, and I'm going to buy one. I got a 2080 Ti. I'm going to sell it and buy one of the new cards.
There you go.
Which you don't have to do, by the way. So PC gaming is not as expensive as all other people say, but if you want to go to the high-end segment and you want to play everything in the best form possible, then you're going to pay a lot of money. So that's with the PC, you don't have to, with the console, you don't have to mind all those things. You just get it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. You pay your money every 5 or 6 years. You're good to go. Like you can upgrade like the hard drive on it, but that's really it. It's
really
done.
it. Yeah. But on the other side, you also have the argument that console fanboys are saying, PC is way too expensive and this and that. I mean, that's not true. I mean, yes, buying a PC initially is going to be more expensive, but when you pay like $70 for a new game, I pay 30 or 40 if I shop around a little bit smart, and that's where your profits come from.
Yeah.
Which is impossible to do on a console. And also, I don't like the argument saying, console just works. It's not true. You have to put in your disc. You have to install the disc. I mean, it's basically the same. So that's not an argument anymore.
No.
I think, and we all know you own a PlayStation 4 yourself, how long a download takes there on the PlayStation 4. I truly hope with PlayStation 5 they do something about the download speeds, because that is horrible.
It really is. Yeah, you've got, and the file sizes are just getting larger and larger, and that's the other argument, is the hard drive that you need to hold games now is crazy. I can't imagine where we're going with these games and how much install is going to be needed.
Was it the new Modern Warfare that took over 200 gigabytes now?
I don't know. I've not heard the new ones yet. I know something like Red Dead Redemption 2 was like 125.
Yeah, I think it's 90 or something on the PC. But be that as may, I have for like 4 terabytes here.
Of course you do, but a console, even the souped up versions of it, it's a
gigabyte.
Yeah,
terabyte. Sorry, 4 terabytes. Excuse me.
Yeah, so you have to, and I've upgraded mine to be able to hold all that, or buy an external one. So that's the limitations that they're really going to have to address here very soon, especially with the all digital version now. So,
I'm actually kind of curious about the all digital version. I'm a little bit skeptical about it, and again, this comes from a collector. I mean, if I would buy the PlayStation 5, I would probably buy the one with the disc.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I understand why people are going all digital. As a PC gamer, I don't have any other options than to go digital in most of the cases, and my collector heart bleeds whenever I do that. So.
I've heard that us as collectors speak from it differently, but I've heard people say like they just don't care about collections. They don't have the space for it.
Well,
it's not a thing to them, and that's cool. So you're going to be digital anyway.
well, to be honest, needing space isn't a requirement to collect games. So.
You need a room.
Yeah, and when that's filled up, you got a problem. See, I am in the situation right now that I literally can't fit anything anymore. So that's it. If I want something new, I'm gonna have to get rid of something old, and I don't want to do that.
No,
it's either I need a second room, or I need to wait until my daughter's 18 when she moves the hell out, and I can claim that room.
You hope at 18, right?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
When she's still there at 30, you're like, it's okay. I don't need the room. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll probably sell everything then and buy a car.
Yes, or you just got to get a new house with the bigger rooms. Yeah,
probably I could actually sell everything and buy a house maybe by then. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But no, anyway. Anyways, I was saying, I mean, PC versus console. I mean, it's a stupid debate. It's just honestly just stupid. I mean, you've seen my pictures, right? My PlayStation 4 is hooked up to a monitor.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing it there anyway.
Yeah, so for me, it doesn't change a bit. And there's also a lot of emulation going on now also. So
you're a different type of gamer to begin with. So like in my situation, I don't want to. I sit at my computer all day long working. That's the last thing I want to do when I'm gaming. I like to go to the couch and play on the big TV. So
that's an argument I hear a lot, and my counter argument always is when you can hook your PC up to a TV quite easily. But hey, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well I mean my computer's in my office. That's my workspace.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to at least see my family some of the day. So we're at least in the same room when I'm gaming later on. And I don't, another point, and I don't know if everybody's experience is the same with this. When I'm playing a digital game, something that I've downloaded, I've noticed my PlayStation 4, and I've got the Pro and everything, it really starts to hum. Like that hard drive really starts spinning. It gets hot. I was joking around that my daughter was playing Slime Rancher. And I don't know if you. Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about like the highest spec game of all time here. And
nope.
It shut off my PlayStation. It overheated.
Ouch. I never had experienced that, and I got a Pro also. Never had that. But I heard a lot of people have had it, so it's a problem.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You're accessing the hard drive. It's got to spin. It's going to create heat. And I've never occasionally I'll hear my fan turn on with a game like Resident Evil 2 where it's really pushing it. But by and large, I've never heard it nearly as much as when we play games off the hard drive.
Well, the tech nerd in me would then just open up the PlayStation and repaste it and stuff, but I'm not going to do it. So
when I start opening systems, bad things happen, man.
Yeah, with the PC, okay, but the PlayStation was just stand there and do your job. Yeah, that's all you need to do. That's
why I bought you that. I know how to open my PC up and clean it out and get all those things, those type of things.
Yeah, I bought the PlayStation 4 Pro First for VR because my daughter wanted VR.
Okay.
And the second one to play a few JRPGs. But gotta be honest, the JRPG list on the PlayStation 4 compared to what it used to be, yeah, that's debatable. But, wasn't my favorite JRPG system. Well, I played a lot more JRPGs on my handheld than I did on my actual PlayStation.
It's better than it was for PlayStation 3.
Yeah, PlayStation 3 was also a horrible time, but for me, I said it earlier to you when we were chatting. I mean, the PlayStation 3 era was the dark times for me, so it was when I played World of Warcraft and literally didn't play anything else. so
there wasn't a whole lot to play anyway, so you might have had time well spent on your WoW days. Yeah.
Yeah, don't remind me. Yeah, but I bought a few games on the PlayStation 4 though. I mean, I got like Kingdom Hearts 3, yeehaw. Yay. I haven't even started the game, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, I'd tell you to play it. It's worth playing. It's not a game that was worth waiting 10 years for.
Yeah, I heard bad things about it, but it looks okay though.
It looks great.
I mean,
it's fun. It's just you're going to play through 10 Disney movies. So
yeah, probably the only thing I really want is just to play through the Pirates of the Caribbean ones. So all the rest I don't really care about. So
Pirates was so much fun. Like that was.
Is it? Oh, okay.
That was the best one. It's funny because we watched Tangled for the first time the other night, and the movie is like scene for scene in the game. it it just said, okay, what's the script? There we go. Add Sora and Goofy and Donald to it.
Yeah, but to be honest, do you even remember the plot of Kingdom Hearts?
Oh God, no! I don't
There's
care.
it's so convoluted now. I understand nothing about what's going on in Kingdom Hearts. As literally, there's so many diversions in those games now. The storyline's like all over the place. So,
No, I could care. Honestly, I could care less what the story was. I just wanted to play it because I felt like I needed to.
yeah, I'm gonna do it too. It's on the huge backlog.
Oh,
So,
that grows every single day, and
yeah, I don't want to know what my backlog of games is, but see, at the moment I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC because we
Okay.
just got it on the PC now, which is a really great game. And after that, I'm not decided what I'm going to play because there's a game that's been waiting here for, I think now, almost 19 years. It's called Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's an RPG.
Oh, yes.
So maybe finally I will get through that one. So,
That's another one because I was never an Xbox guy. I never got to play that one, but yeah,
I got it on PC. I don't have an Xbox.
KOTOR is in high regards as far as RPGs go. So
It is, yeah. It's supposed to be really awesome, and it's been laying here since I think 2005 or something. I'm not sure.
Wow, just been staring at you like, hey, come on.
Yeah, it finally reached in my sights now. So it's like, okay, I'm maybe gonna play that again.
What have I heard about Horizon that's not good on the PC?
On
What's
the
going
PC,
on with it?
it's a bit better now. But personally, I didn't have a lot of problems.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm on the forums also on Steam, so I know there's a lot of problems. Apparently, it's crashing all the time for people.
Huh.
It's like crash after crash after crash and stuttering, and yeah, I don't know what's going on. For me, it just runs fine, and I play in ultra wide resolution, so
Yeah.
I don't have any problem. But there's gotta be a problem there, and not everybody has a high end PC.
I was going to say, isn't that a problem with PCs? Obviously, you've got a million different configurations and setups.
It's a problem for developers probably because
Of course.
when you develop for a console, it's for that specific hardware, and there you go. A PC has a million variables.
Yeah.
So every PC is different. I mean, there's so many components, peripherals, anything you can buy. And I think that's really hard to code in there, especially now they're using the Decima engine, which is the engine used to create the game.
Okay.
And it's pretty new on PC. And we had Death Stranding, and the Decima engine worked really good. And now this one, Guerrilla Games, those are the ones that created Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
It's their first PC port.
Mm-hmm.
So you know there's going to be problems. I mean, I can accept it. But when you charge 60 euros for a game and it crashes for apparently a lot of people, there's a problem there and you need to fix it.
Yeah.
And supposedly now they're doing it. But again, I can't speak from experience because it just worked for me. I mean, I get like a steady 80 FPS, but then again, I own a 2080 Ti and a 9900K, which is the highest of the highest almost, so to speak.
I think that's a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Probably, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, a mid-range PC should be able to play it too.
I would, or at least, at a lower resolution or something like that. You sacrifice a little.
Of course, yeah. Not everybody. There's only a small segment that plays at 4K.
Oh yeah, or even has the ability. So.
Yeah, and if you want to play in 4K on a PC, yeah, you're gonna waste a lot of money. Then
that port was interesting to me. The fact that you kind of raised a point earlier that you spend more on hardware, but you save on software, whereas this one cost you full price. But if you had you could pick it up for $10 on PlayStation.
Yeah, it is, but there is a difference, of course. I mean, if you buy a PlayStation or if you buy a console, I mean. To be honest, I can't play at 30 FPS anymore. I mean, those kind of games, I mean. So 30 FPS for me is just a no-go.
Gotcha.
And I need 60. It's not snobbish because we're up to 144 hertz now. Probably, apparently, I'm not even reaching that within a milestone. But, I mean, for me, 60 is like the bare minimum that I want to play a game. Mm-hmm. And I have Horizon Zero Dawn on the PlayStation 4 Pro. It came with my Pro back in the day. Okay. So I played it. Yeah. Installed it, played it, and I was like, this is unplayable for me.
Oh, wow.
The same with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
I couldn't play it on the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's just impossible. 30 FPS is killing me. I mean, once you're used to 60 FPS, there's no going back.
Okay. I was gonna say
just
I
is.
didn't notice anything at all that made it like that. I guess that's just what I'm used to, though.
It is. I'm pretty sure if I start playing this again and threw away my PC and start playing on consoles again, I would adjust in like probably half a year or something. And I don't mind anymore, because I'm not saying it's unplayable. I mean, 30 FPS is fine for a lot of games. Don't get me wrong. But when you're used to 60 FPS, it's really difficult to go back. It's a point that you reach and you say 60 FPS, and you really notice the difference between 30 and 60.
Wow.
It's night and day difference. Once you experience it, there's actually no going back. You really haven't experienced it, so for you it's not a problem. But a lot of PC gamers will say, "Whoa, this is really bad." 30 FPS. So
I'm definitely hoping with these new systems that 60 becomes the standard. And if you've got a TV that can support it, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to play it.
Yeah, 60 should have been the bare minimum years ago.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird when you see games like, oh, well, we can only do 30 now. We can't even come close to doing 60. Like, I thought this was a while ago we decided this was what it should be.
But then you hear developers now, I think it's Ubisoft with the new Assassin's Creed. They're saying it's probably going to run at 4K 30 on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. As a consumer, I'm like, that's not good.
No.
It shouldn't be.
Why? Like, what possible reason could there be to do that?
There's two possible reasons. One, the hardware isn't sufficient to run it at 60 FPS, which is a possibility. Or two, knowing Ubisoft, they're pretty lazy in development, and especially when it comes to optimization, it's gonna be badly optimized. So
not.
that's Ubisoft for you. I mean, just create a game, put it out, and that's it. If you got a high-end PC, no problem. If you go to the mid-range or low-end PC, well, you're going to have a bad time. A lot of Ubisoft games. I mean, it's probably going to be the same on the PlayStation.
I get that for PS4, but yeah, for the 5, that doesn't make any sense. That's one.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be happening. There's absolutely no reason for a game to run at 30 FPS on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One X, for that matter. Shouldn't be.
Yeah, unless you're playing a game from 15 years ago, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's something different, of course. I mean, I can't even imagine what kind of FPS I'm getting on my Vita and stuff. I really don't know what it is, because I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're not playing that.
It doesn't matter at all at that moment. So
no. Well, Hans, I know there was something else you wanted to rant on. We can wrap up our talk with something you've been wanting to throw out there for a while.
Well, it's something that you, I guess, are familiar with, eh?
Maybe a little bit.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Go ahead.
How do you feel that when we buy a new game, we always get like half a game now?
Oh man,
There's got to be DLCs, day one patches, this, that. No, just give me the game.
Yeah. Or
I mean, have you seen the Assassin's Creed that's coming out now? You got 4 different versions.
That's insane.
The standard one, the super one, the mega one, the platinum one, whatever. I mean, it's just give me the game.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I mean,
I don't blame companies for wanting to make more money. I don't
blame them at all. But as a consumer, it's annoying. It's really annoying as a consumer. And they're probably gonna say now, okay, boomer, but it was just generally like we got full games back in the day. When they released the game, it was finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until PlayStation 3 that this really started.
Have you seen the States some games come out?
Oh my gosh.
Even on console, eh? I mean, that's not a PC problem. That's a genuine global problem in the gaming community.
Yeah.
In the States, some games launch. It's like this abysmal. That's not even a beta anymore. It's just, yeah. I mean, and then the pre-ordering stuff. I mean, I get it. I mean, I all get it, but you shouldn't pre-order any game. I mean,
unless you want to be disappointed.
Yeah, I do it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being a hypocrite here. I mean, I pre-order too. But why should you give your money for something that you don't know what it's going to be? Because developers already get the money before the game is even finished. And then you get games in a state that's actually abysmal. And you have to wait another few weeks and even months to get it patched, to get it played. Oh, man. Ugh. Yeah. That's a rant, yeah.
That's a good one. Like, I never had a real problem with it because it never really affected me, I think, until Final Fantasy 15. And as
Yeah.
that day one adopter, I was so hyped. And then it's like afterwards I learned, like, wait a second, like this game is broken. It is not.
Yeah.
It is not the game that it should be. I don't. Like I said, we talked about earlier. I don't know if it's even got to that point to where it is better.
It is playable. Yeah, it's better now. It's playable.
But that's the unexcusable part for me.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen.
No.
So, and that's a really big rant for me. I mean, and then I'm not gonna get into loot boxes. I mean, they're almost dead.
Yeah, that's
thank God. I mean, microtransactions. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it, but hey, if people want to spend money on it, it's your money. I'm not gonna say you can do it.
Exactly.
But sometimes it can be intrusive.
It is.
Or like Assassin's Creed is one of those examples again, where you get actually enticed to buy certain currencies in game to buy other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't want that while I'm playing a single player game. It's like, get out of here with that stuff.
Yeah, that's where I don't want it at all. It's like, okay, if I want to buy like a new costume for the characters and it costs me a couple bucks, well, that's me. I can do that.
That's on you. That's on you.
But not something that's required to enjoy the game. That's not cool.
But then again, we're talking about cosmetics. I mean, when you buy a new costume, it's a cosmetic, change your character. Yeah. But some games you can actually, pay to win. If you pay a lot of money, you're a lot better at the game than other people. I mean, Battlefront 2 from a few years ago, I think with EA, was, I think, the epiphany of greediness at some moment. So
that's where it really hit mainstream, I think.
Yeah, and actually it's a good thing it happened. Looking back at it.
It is. It had to.
Yeah, because EA gets a lot of flack from everybody. They're like the worst company in the world and this and that. But EA also has this I'm not sure what it's called. They have this program where developers can be under their wings to develop a game with full creative control. I don't remember what the name is. And that's a good thing about EA. They can be such a good company if they want to, but instead they choose the opposite route, the route of being greedy.
Yeah.
And then you get Battlefront and all that kind of stuff. And I have to say that it's been less and less now. I mean, your FIFAs and your Maddens side, because those are games I'll never buy.
Yeah.
With those Ultimate Team card packs and all kind of stuff, that's just straight up gambling.
It is. I've heard. That's what I actually was about to bring up. I heard that about Madden, that people are spending like $20 a week basically after you buy a game in order to get these packs. And I'm like, that sounds like a scratch ticket. It really does.
Yeah, but when you already paid $60 for a game or euros, I believe you should have the game just as it is.
I agree. On a separate but equal note, I have a real problem with, actually somebody asked this on a forum the other day and they answered, they're like, what are you looking forward to with Persona 6? And of course this is a long time away from it. I was like, well, first day is we need the game that's supposed to be. They did this with Golden and they did it with Royal, where we got a better, more complete version of the game later and had to buy the game twice. That really ticks me off.
Yeah, those are all those terrible anti-consumer things. And as a consumer, I will always advocate for the right of a consumer. Mm-hmm. I'm always on the consumer side, and developers, sadly, they aren't anymore. I get it. They're companies, they want to make money, but you're alienating an older fan base.
Yeah.
And then we get to the boomer stuff again, because I see my daughter. She's turning 8. She doesn't care about spending like €5 on something like in Robux.
Yeah. Right.
To buy some currency there. It's just a normal thing for them.
It is.
And for us, it's like, hell no.
Oh, yeah. We've spent it just as much on the game, on add-ons to Minecraft, as we have for the game itself, if not more.
Yeah, we all know it's not going to go away. I mean,
no, it's not.
It's here to stay, and we're going to have to accept it. But hey, I still have the right to rant about it, damn it.
Oh, that's exactly our right. And I think our voices need to be heard when the next one's going to come up here real soon in a couple months when Dragon Quest XI comes out. And so we get this subpar version of the first time on PS4. A better version comes out for Switch, but in some ways it's not better in terms of graphics. And then they port the Switch version for you guys on PC and Xbox One.
We have it on PC, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is going to be that version of it now, so it's going to be this completely different mess.
Yeah, yeah, we're getting an update or something. I don't know what's going. I finish it. I have no desire to play it again at the moment. So it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, it's great.
The only thing,
the orchestra.
The only thing that I had a patch for that one. That's another thing about PCs. You can actually use mods and stuff. So that was what. But the only thing that irritated me about Dragon Quest 11 was when you finished the game wasn't finished.
Oh no, there's a lot more.
Yeah, and I did that stuff again, right? And I was like, what is the point of having credits mid through the game? what is the bigger plan here? It was total waste of time to put the credits in there.
It kind of was, because you really did need to keep on going. Like they did that with 8, and there was those extra trials and there was stuff.
I was like,
no, 11, like that was a whole new story element that was going on there. It was kind of weird that there was credits.
I like the game. It's one of the better RPGs I played in recent years. But it just was a weird thing. But why were the credits there? That didn't make any sense. So.
I guess they thought, well, I've been playing this one for 80 hours. We need to roll credits sometime soon.
And I remember the final boss. I mean, the real final boss was...
oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I had to level all my characters to 99, I believe.
You got to be able to beat up there in order to try to beat that one.
Yeah, I maxed them all out, and even then it beat my ass a few times before I was able to take it down. That's why I don't have any desire to play the game again at the moment. I will play it again though at some point, but at the moment it just no.
One of these days I'm going to get back around to playing it again. I'm not going to buy this new version, but I will play it again.
Yeah, I will play it again too, and I'm probably going to enjoy it a lot more than I did the first time. So, we'll see then. We'll see.
we shall see indeed.
But anyway, my rant is over. So.
Okay, all right. Well, if you're done ranting and we're done complaining about things as old men, we'll wrap this up.
Okay, boomer.
All right. Well, Hans, thank you so much for coming on here. I've had a lot of fun chit-chatting about their various different
me
things.
too.
We'll, I'm sure something will come up. We can do this again sometime.
Yeah, I will do it again if there's more ranting to do or there's a game we actually both want to play. So
that may happen eventually. I'm not sure.
That may happen eventually. We'll see.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll wrap this thing up. This has been the JRPG Report Sunday Special, episode 30, with our buddy Hans. Hans, do you know how we end the show here?
Sorry?
I said, do you know how we end the podcast? Do you want to send us out?
You want to send us out with the Dragon Quest music?
No, well, if you want to tell people to get back out there and level up.
That way. Sorry, man.
That's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And tell everybody.
But anyway, everybody get back out there and level up.